This empty box is about ready to be turned into one of the greatest hair salons ever in the history of mankind.
All right, I was a huge fan. I loved Blowout on Bravo, Sheer Genius, another great show. And the star of those shows, reality show genius, Jonathan Antin, who's also a famous Hollywood stylist. He happens to be in town giving some hands-on training lessons for some local stylists, local students. He's joining us this morning right here in our studio. Thank you so much for being here. We're happy to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Talk to me first of all about how you got connected to Daytona College and how this relationship started.
Well, it's kind of funny. Actually, you know, like I'm sitting here, I'm watching these clips, and back then we didn't really have Twitter, but you know, shortly after that, I go to a lot of schools and I teach all over the world. But there was one guy that sent me this when Twitter started. He sent me this tweet, and he said, "Listen, I love this, and I'd love to talk to you." And we just became really good friends. And he just happened to be the administrator of Daytona College, and I was out here on a job doing the hair for like a big, you know, cover of a big, I don't know, it was Vogue or some big magazine, some celebrity, and we met and had lunch, and I said, you know, I'd love to come and teach at Daytona College, excuse me, and you know, to me, education is so important. I'm a firm believer you can't keep what you got unless you give it away. I love to teach. I'm sitting here, I'm watching these clips right now of me. By the way, that's, you know, that was before I had gray sideburns. Actually, no.
And kids, right? Now you have kids.
I have kids. I had gray sideburns there, but I'll be honest. I colored my hair for that.
That's all right. You're allowed to do that. I colored my
hair for that.
You're allowed to do that. You're a stylist.
Right.
Tell me how you made that transition, Jonathan, from just being a stylist. Obviously, you were raised in Hollywood. You come from a good family out in California. How did you go from that transition of a stylist to a celebrity stylist? That's a huge transition.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about perfect hair. You know, if you're doing the work, you know, it's kind of like if you build it, they will come. If you're doing that great work and you're putting yourself out there, and no matter what, perfect hair is the most important thing, which, by the way, your hair is pretty perfect today.
You're sweet.
You know, they will come. And that's what I did. I just stuck with it, and, you know, all of a sudden, Madonna called me one day. Then, you know, Ricky Martin called me one day. And then, you know, Tiger Woods and Leonardo DiCaprio. It's like eventually the word gets around that, like, hey, there's a new guy. You got to call him. He's doing hair like nobody else. And, you know, that's kind of like what I try and give a little bit of that to the students at Daytona College. You know, like, this is how, you know, it's all about, you know, these few simple things that help you do hair perfect that will enable you to potentially get to where I am, you know?
We only have a few seconds left. I understand you're working on a project right now. What can you tell us about that? Because a lot of people miss seeing you. Well, we miss seeing you on TV. You're fun to watch.
This is what I'm allowed. I'm allowed to say that I'm not allowed to say that I'm doing which you didn't hear from me, potential new TV shows. But, you know, it's like my lawyer says, it ain't money till it's money. You never know if you have a show until a year after it's been on, you know? So,
okay. Well, I'm going to be looking for you.
But bottom line is, if you live on the East Coast and you want to be a great hairstylist and you want to do what I do, Daytona College is the way to go. That's
you learn from the best.
Right?
You learn from the best. Jonathan Antin, thank you so much. Follow him on Twitter like I just did this morning too.
You follow me on Twitter, or @MindBody, or @Jonathan and George Salon.
He's all over the place. Yeah. Yes, you are. Thank you. It was a pleasure. All right, John, let's send it back to you.
And finally, another guy who will admit that he touches up his hair a little bit. Right?